kick off, and I'll just keep an eye open and let the door.
Lovely, thank you so much, that's great. So good evening everybody. My name is Rosie, Rosie Russell from the Arts Development Company, and we're going to go around the room from the 4 Dorset organisations who are here today. First of all, audio describing ourselves. So I'm Rosie, I'm a late middle-aged white woman with quite rosy cheeks actually. I've got grey hair with some turquoisey bits in it and turquoise earrings, and I like wearing blue. Normally I'm wearing glasses, but tonight I'm not. And my colleague in the Arts Development Company is Sarah, who's now I think suddenly frozen. This is the joy of technology. So everyone's frozen apart from me. That means I'm frozen.
But we can hear you, Rosie.
Yeah, I can
Who's
hear
laughing?
you.
Because okay, so let's move to Sarah James. Can you describe yourself, Sarah?
Thank you, Rosie. Yeah, I'm Sarah. I'm also a white woman, around about mid-40s. I have blonde curly hair, quite long hair. I have blue eyes and a matching blue flower in my hair tonight. And lovely to see you all. I'm looking forward to speaking to you later. Thanks, Rosie.
Kate?
Thank you, Rosie. I'm Kate Wood. I'm calling in from Dorchester here in the office and Activate, and we produce Inside Out Dorset. I am nearly 50. I'm 50 next year. White, average height, short, dark brown hair, brown eyes, wearing a green top and a black cardigan and green earrings. Lovely to see you all. Welcome.
And Becky?
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Becky Chapman. I'm a white middle-aged woman with shoulder length brown hair, glasses and a stripy ish jumper. Caroline?
I'm also a white middle-aged woman. There's a theme going on here, I do believe. I have short, mousy brown hair. Oh, I'm from Pavilion Dance Southwest as well. I have green eyes with slight brown speckles in them. I am wearing glasses. I have very small gold earrings in. I have a lot of smile lines. And I'm wearing this evening a little necklace, sort of Art Deco necklace that's got white flowers on it and a black polo neck.
Thank you, Caroline. So welcome to you all. This is the Women Leaders Southwest information session that we're running from the 4 organisations based in Dorset, although our reach, as you'll hear, is a long way beyond that. It's really great there's so many of you. We did this morning, and it was also awesome and had some fantastic questions and comments then too. So this is a pilot project. We're one of 18 projects across England funded by the Arts Council Transforming Leadership Programme. The other 2 in the Southwest are Rising Arts in Bristol, which is predominantly working with under 30s. It's a young people's based organisation, and Create Gloucester, which is strangely enough based in Gloucester. So the 3 of us represent the Southwest region for these Arts Council Transforming Leadership Programmes. If you want to look up about those organisations or other ones, then go on to Arts Council England Transforming Leadership site, and you can read up about those. I've just spotted Avril Silk in the room, which is so fantastic. I can't tell you, from way back, and it's glorious to see you, Avril. So yeah, that's what we're here for. We're going to talk about this programme. We're going to give you a bit of an overview, and we're going to take it in turns, and we're going to hope the technology works, and we are learning as well. This is a learning programme for all of us, and we never stop learning. So next slide, I reckon.
No, I think it's on me actually, because we haven't done the housekeeping. So I'm just going to move in and jump in. Rosie, as you say, we're all learning, but I'm going to just jump in. just to say that we are recording this presentation, so if you prefer not to be caught on camera, just turn off your video, that's completely fine. Also, if you are able to just amend your name so that you can just pop in maybe a second name, or if you haven't got a name up there clearly, just pop your name on your self view, and you just do that by clicking on the 3 dots on the top right hand corner of your self view, which you can also turn off if you prefer not to look at yourself. The other thing that's really helpful is if just in the chat, as we're kind of doing the housekeeping, just pop in a little bit about where you're from. So, you know, I'm Becky, I'm from Bristol. So if you can pop that in the chat, that's just really nice for us to get a sense of where everyone's calling in from. So as I say, it's a Zoom recording. We're using Rev for captioning, which is kind of a little bit inaccurate, but bear with it. The Zoom recording will be BSL interpreted. So if you know anyone who would like to access the recording who's a BSL user, do find it on the websites after today. We'll be getting that done pretty quickly as a BSL interpreted recording. We are keeping our mics on mute, although towards the end of the presentation, we're going to have a big chunk of time for questions. So do feel able to put questions in the chat, and then we'll ask a few of you to pose your question and obviously unmute yourself. But if most of the time you can stay on mute, that would be lovely. And any techie glitches or anything, just pop in the chat if you've got any issues with the tech or you can't hear, and we'll try and sort it out. All right, now we go.
Thanks, Becky.
And Rosie, can I just add one thing, just to say to the 18 projects, just to say that they're all very different, and this project is one that's is focused on the Southwest. So we're not all connected. We're connected because we've all had funding from the Arts Council, but each of the different transforming leadership programs are different. All of the lead partners will talk and network and learn from each other, but essentially we are not rolling out with the other programs, are we, Rosie?
No, that's correct. Thanks, Kate.
So I'm just going to get to sharing our screen, if that's all right, Rosie, and then we can kick off. So bear with us, everyone, just while I do the sort of techie side. And you can start seeing our lovely pictures that we've created for you.
Yeah.
I think hopefully you can all see that.
So here we are. Yeah. So these are the women from the Southwest who are with you tonight. Myself and Sarah, Kate, Becky and Caroline representing our organisations. And as I say, we're now about to kick off on this pilot project, and should we move on to the next slide, Caroline? Yeah. Let me repeat.
So probably a good idea for us to identify where we're not geographically right now, but where we stand as women right now. I'd like to read a little quote that we've been sharing with people we've been doing this presentation to. As a society, we are conditioned to envision a particular embodiment of power, and it is male in form, male leaders, male-defined work structures, male historical visions of success. That is a quote by Lynette Shanbury from Spare. I think she was the chief exec of Spare Tyre. And we're looking to transform this, basically. The Women Leader Southwest programme is here to make change and put women in positions to make impactful decisions. Let's just have a little look at where we are nationally right now. And the figures are pretty shocking, as you can imagine. So we have white men from privileged backgrounds 5 times more likely to get a job as a director, CEO of arts, of an arts organisation. They also earn 4.4% more than women you know, we should all seriously be shocked still in 2020 that these figures still are there with us. I'm just going to let Mabel in, forgive me. Hello, Mabel, welcome. I think it's helpful also to see where we are in the Southwest and how this picture pans out. So there are 64 national portfolio organisations. We sometimes refer to them as NPOs. For those who don't know what an NPO is, it's a not-for-profit organisation dedicated to a given cause. So at the beginning of this year, the ones who received the most funding were led by men. So four of those organisations are led by men, and they were given actually a third of the funding. So, you know, pretty shocking statistics there. So painting a pretty bleak picture, but it does actually lead us quite nicely onto the next slide, because this is really our challenge, to make a difference. So why women leaders Southwest?
So the answer to this question is that there exists a network of women in Southwest leadership roles, and that network is very strong. They're very brilliant women, and we can build on that and capitalize on that network and make it even wider and broader. So that's one reason.
So
Caroline's frozen.
who may otherwise struggle to find a way into the arts. The programme is really sort of hopefully giving a sort of sense of energy and momentum, and we want to share. It's really important that we share the learning among ourselves, all of us, both for applicants and for the organisations. That way, you know, we really are going to make a difference. And as applicants, you will naturally join this network. So it's definitely worth applying.
And I think, sorry, go Kate.
Sorry. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the bit more about the network and how important it is for it to be sustainable and resilient. That it's grown here and nurtured in the Southwest, and it's reflective of our communities and our demographic. We want this to have a lasting legacy.
Yeah, and I think it's worth saying, you know, this is a massive region, and it's very distinct. And one of the reasons why we wanted this to be Women Leaders Southwest, and very specifically Southwest, was that we wanted to start to build a real sense of pride in the place and to develop a name around female leadership behaviour in the Southwest, and for that to be a kind of element of what defines the arts and the cultural sector in the Southwest.
And part of doing that, and now seems more pertinent than ever, is now is the time to be doing things differently. You know, it's very clear that the world is changing, and we need to have creative and inspiring ways of doing things that are not the same old. So this is an opportunity really to sort of to change our attitudes, to challenge the sort of dialogue that's around leadership, around risk, around failure, and to women have the innate capacity, I believe, to do these things differently. So this is the time, and the need for change is now. So this is why we're doing it, and it's a pilot. It is a pilot. It has not happened before. Woo!
So the challenge that we identified in the network that gathered together around this project was, I mean, as Rosie's already touched on, I mean, the entrenched challenges that impact women around leadership, power, and the cultural sector. And, you know, by that, I'm talking about the terrible inequalities that still persist, about the ridiculous underrepresentation of women at leadership levels, and particularly the way, I mean, at the moment, I think we've been really it's been made really clear that the inequalities that impact women are so entrenched and made so much more entrenched by the current situation of the pandemic. I mean, it's been really shown that women are shouldering much, much more of the burden of the pandemic on all sorts of levels, and the disruption of the pandemic more than men. And I think that it's also very clear for everybody to see that disabled women, women from working class backgrounds, and women of colour are also being disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. So I think this has kind of really given some, made the whole programme more important than it was before the pandemic. It's critical that the obstacles that women face are challenged, are removed, are mitigated, and also that at this moment where clearly we need to do things differently in order to create a society that is fair, and that is fair for all and fair for women, that we need new ideas and voices coming into the sector, into the cultural sector. This is not a moment for slow change. It's a moment where we really need to challenge and rewrite the rule book, really, because our industry is in crisis and we need to develop greater resilience, better ideas, better decision making. And it seems to us that women, particularly informed by the struggles that they face, are in a really good place and position to do that new thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. So these, this slide are the logos that represent all of our partners. We have, you know, 4 here today. I'm from Activate, obviously Sarah and Rosie from the Arts Development Company, Caroline from Pavilion Dance, and Becky from Diverse City, all the Dorset-based organisations. But many of us do work across the UK, and my organisation has 2 European partnerships. We are 4 of the 8 female-led cultural organisations. Most of us are national portfolio organisations, and as well as what Caroline said around us having charitable purpose within the arts, we are also regularly funded by the Arts Council. We aren't one of the most funded, as was also highlighted, but we come together. The lead partner, Sasha, who runs The Point in Eastleigh, brought us together when she saw this opportunity, and we had been talking about these challenges for some time. We haven't worked together in this partnership before. Many of us have worked together in different partnerships, but we haven't come together in this way. And this was a real opportunity, and it was incredibly inspiring to all come around the table for a start, and to talk about what we could do together. And we all, and Sasha invited the University of Southampton in, Mina from who leads a very inspiring programme that is going to be bespoke around social entrepreneurship for us, and also working with Jude Kelly, who set up Women of the World Festival 10 years ago. And so we're working with those 2 partners in different ways. They're not host organisations. They offer very specific roles for us. WOW is supporting us with mentoring and with connecting to their national and international networks, which is fantastic, and helping us with the symposium. And as I say, the University of Southampton is going to be delivering bespoke training, one-to-one seminar, and they'll also be delivering the evaluation. The rest of us are partners that will be the host organisations and host 2 associates. But we'll talk a little bit more about the detail of the programme in a bit. But I know, you know, it's been the coming together. We've learnt a lot already, even though we've had to delay the programme. We've come together and learnt an enormous amount around how we might do this differently, and challenging ourselves. So, you know, it is very much a two-way process. We're all learning in this as well. But I will hand over now to Caroline to tell us a little bit more, show us a little bit more about our organisations.
Thanks, Kate. So we've made some little videos for you, just to give you a sort of heads up on what each of the organisations do. You know, in this programme, we might see great change in these organisations if you join, and you may have some really inspiring thoughts about how to change these organisations. But for the moment, this is if I can find the play button, this is what we're all doing.
The Arts Development Company came out of the previous arts and arts education teams within the local authority, and our work then and continues to be around working with different groups within society and different sectors, so whether that's environment, children, young people, health, whether it's around tourism. And we're working with some great organisations who are doing extraordinary work that has massive social impact.
Diversity is a performing arts company where social justice and culture meet. We believe that for the arts to fairly reflect and shape society, all voices need to be heard and all audiences welcomed. So we do this by making and touring new shows, nurturing new creative voices, and engaging communities in artistic activism. Our circus performance company, Extraordinary Bodies, which is our collaboration with Soap Bijou, exemplifies representative performance, and whether it's ensuring that all work is audio described and BSL interpreted, or creating inclusive rehearsals and auditions, we think creatively to make sure that art can be made by and for everybody. In September 2014, Diversity was shortlisted for the National Diversity Awards Community Organisation Award, and 1 month later, Diversity received the Claude Duffield 50th Anniversary Prize. In September 2015, Diversity won a European Diversity Award for Diverse Futures Community Project of the Year. To find out more about us, you can head to our website, http://diversicity.org.uk.
Activate is a charitable company, and we've been based in Dorset now for over 28 years. I think the most important thing that we try and do is to break down the barriers to accessing art. We work with artists to create extraordinary experiences in Dorset that touch the lives of thousands of people.
Hi, I'm Sana, Artistic Director and CEO at Pavilion Dance Southwest. We're dedicated to transforming communities through dance. We are based in a building with a theatre and 2 studios, and work a lot with communities within our building and in their own locations across Bournemouth, Christchurch, Poole. We're at a pivot point of change where we want to do things differently and bring dance to more people. If you'd like to join us on this journey, we look forward to hearing from you.
So that's all the a little bit about the Dorset partners. We will send you in the chat all of our websites as well, so you can copy and paste those a bit later. So I'm sure you're all dying to know more about the programme. So without further ado, let's go for it. Ooh.
Next one, yeah.
So yeah, so what is it? What is this program? So I think it's been said before, but it is a learning program. So it's not employment. It's not a placement. It's a program that's designed to be a pretty joined up learning program, both for women already working and leading in the Southwest, and also new women who are part of the wider cohort. And I guess what that creates is a big, substantial network in the Southwest. The change program, the learning program that we have created and put together, is comprised of about 7 different elements. So to start with, I think, Rosie, you're going to talk about what we're actually offering to people.
Yeah, what we're actually offering on this program is there are 16 tailored placements. So that's 2 per host organisation over the period of the program. And within that is the offer includes mentoring and reverse mentoring. And to answer Laura's question, reverse mentoring is so you and I I'm mentoring you, Laura, but in the conversation as the conversations are progressing, you are also mentoring me. It becomes a dialogue where we are supporting each other and enabling each other through that dialogue, so that we're learning from each other and supporting each other. Yeah, and I think that's becoming much more recognized as something that makes a massive difference to us. It's rather than me being the sort of, the all-knowing or the great guide or whatever. It's none of us are that, but we can together go on a journey. And the support that's available, Caroline.
Yeah, so you may have all read there's a training bursary of £12,000. So the programme is running from January 2021 through to June or July 2020?
June.
2022. June,
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, never can quite remember which month it is. So so within that that period, that bursary, you will be able to draw on that bursary. It's a grant towards the cost of training, and it can be paid in instalments as per your programme, i.e. If you choose to spread the training across a 12-month period, you'll receive £1,000 a month. You will only be entitled to grant payments if you attend the programme. There's also an additional budget, to support what we've recognised women actually really need, which could be anything from childcare costs or other caring responsibilities, potentially specific equipment during your training or placement. Travel, really critical, because we all know how expensive that's becoming, and each year it goes up more. BSL or language interpretation. We do also offer counselling too. So from all of this, what will you gain?
Great, thank you, Caroline. So I mentioned a little bit earlier about the social entrepreneurship and business skills training with Southampton Business School. That starts in January, and they've put something together for us that is very tailored and will continue throughout the programme. So as Caroline said, that starts in January 2021, and we finished the programme in June 2022. And it's equivalent to 10 months. And we're very flexible about what that looks like. there are some things that we do expect people to attend. For example, the Kickoff Residential, which is taking place in Dartington. And those of you who haven't been or not familiar with Dartington, it's really worth having a look at the location. It's incredibly beautiful in Devon. So you know, that is something that we would expect people to come to. But from there, the 16 placements is very much tailored to the practical needs of and interests of what you would want to explore and develop within this program, and equally within the setting of your host. So if you decided to come to one of the Dorset organisations, for example, because we're in a network of these eight partners, it does mean that there's opportunities. For example, if you were in, if you were hosted by my organisation, but really wanted to learn much more about inclusive practice in circus, then it would be talking with Becky and Claire, who run Diversity in Extraordinary Bodies, about how perhaps there's a few days spent there, for example. So the network is very, very important, and equally with our partners who are, you know, Dahlia, who runs our Asia in Southampton, Katie over at Collider in Exeter, Emma Jane and Christina in Strike a Light in Gloucestershire. You know, there's a real range there. The one geographic area that we don't cover in the Southwest region is Cornwall. And what's interesting through this programme, actually, that obviously, as you know, we've had to postpone and delay because of the coronavirus, has meant that we're all, you know, when it works, we're able to come online and work remotely. So actually, some of the what might have been a sort of barrier with regarding geography in the past is possibly less of a barrier now. So we talk in the pack that you should be able to access online, and if you're not, then please contact us and we can send it through to you. But all the details of what you might want to do. For example, you might have an existing project that you'd like to develop further, and Caroline is holding it up there, if you can see. That's what the front of the pack looks like. It might be that we're working on a project that actually you're interested in, and you would like to develop your leadership skills through that. It might be that you would like to bring a challenge to our organisations, or you've got a challenge that you would need to work through. This is all something, all the different, there are different ways to sort of approach it, and it's very much a bespoke programme.
I'm going to answer, I'd quite like to, just as we're on this page, Caroline, I think it's worth answering the questions about clarification on the £12,000. That is paid to the associates, to whomever is successful. It is not paid to the organisations. I don't know, Sarah, if you want to add anything to that. So your bursary, whoever is successful gets that £12,000. The organisations don't get the money. Do you want to add anything, Sarah? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's really clear, Rosie. Sorry, I was just picking up on those two questions, two similar questions from Annette and Katie. So the £12,000 is your training bursary. That's what you get paid, not the organisations. So things like the Southampton University-led courses, that is part of your package for free. So you get that education, you get that learning for free as part of the overall package. Also, there was a question about where the pack is, the pack that Kate referred to. If we can, do we know where that is? Is that on one of the websites?
Yeah.
Anybody?
If you wait till the end, unfortunately I can't share things on my screen, so if you can just wait to the end of the slide show, I'm gonna give you all of that information, all the links to the individual organisation websites, and a link to Pavilion Dance Southwest website, which has all of the packs available.
Fantastic. Thanks, Caroline. And one final little thing from me, which was the thing about reverse mentoring, that I was suddenly thought to myself, maybe that sounds really scary, that like, oh my God, what have I got to, you know, how do I mentor back? And I think we can all do this, and we all do it. And I've been working with younger people, and they've taught me loads and didn't even know it. You know, we do stuff. So please don't be afraid of that concept. Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah, I'd like to add a bit more as well. So basically your experience and your experience of the world really matters. And that's what will make all the difference to building fresh leaders and making new leaders from old ones, like myself. So, you know, yeah, that's reverse mentoring. It's shaking it up a bit. Right, we're coming on to the last couple of slides. So, you know, keep the questions coming, please do.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've been grappling with as a group of organisations and women is really
Becky, if you can hear us, you're a little bit frozen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
On my end, I'm sorry. Everyone else?
Fine.
Fine.
Sorry to interrupt you then.
Just you, Caroline. So we've been kind of going, so what do we actually mean by leadership? What is this thing? What are we talking about when we talk about leadership? Because I think it's quite a knotty term. So just to finally come to the end of this presentation, we want everyone just to take a moment just to think about what it means to you, and to perhaps help you to think about someone who you've worked with or you have had experience of, that you feel has influenced you, impact you in a really positive way through their leadership behaviour. It might be thinking a little bit about someone and what their qualities were, what their skills were, what their values might have been, and yeah, what their behaviour was in relation to you, and what that told you about leadership behaviour. I'm just going to leave you with that thought for a couple of minutes. So you can just zoom in on that idea of leadership, and also obviously you can still write in the chat. I'm just going to leave you with that thought just for a couple of minutes. And Sarah's just put in the chat what it means to her and what the quality or the behaviour was that has impacted her. And if anyone would like to do the same, then please do. Any suggestions of what leadership behaviour has impacted you positively? Great. That was about about 2 minutes. So I'll just hand back to Caroline to finish off.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for yeah, coming with us on this journey so far. And yeah, as I say, I'll put in the application links, etc. So just note the deadline is the Monday, the 16th of November at 9 AM. So if you are hoping to apply, please try and do it before that time. And you know, we are available to answer questions too. Have a look at the organisations, you know, us in Dorset and all of the others as well, and really find the one that's going to help you make the change, and help you to become your best leader self. And that's it from me. I'm sure everyone else might want to say a little something too before we go into questions.
Yeah, I think there's something for me around because this is very much about change and leadership. So what is it what change is it that you'd like to see most, and where's that most needed, whether that's in your community, your area, your, you know, and how would that come about? I think there's something about thinking, if you were to do this program, what would that look like in 3 years' time? What would be the change that you had helped make happen? Because this isn't about, I don't know, becoming specifically a great artist, if you like. It's about leadership and what that looks like. And I think there's something else that's to do with how we can be leading at all times, or leading even when we don't appear to be perceived as leaders. So yeah, that's the being brave and going for it and thinking about what, you know, what is it you want to see change.
So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen now, and we'll all be able to see each other, and I'll put those things in the chat for you. And we're ready for questions.
Yeah, we've had some great questions, Caroline, come through. So perhaps if we do some of the practical ones first, if that's all right. So
Lost you, Sarah. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know at which point I cut off, but I was just talking about some practical.
Don't say the word practical.
Does somebody else want to pick up while Sarah's internet's just a little bit shaky?
So there's a practical question which is about whether people should apply to organisations that are near us geographically, and that's from Willow. I think everyone is very different on this. I mean, obviously we're living in COVID times at the moment, so a lot of what is going on in lots of organisations is available to do online. Not all organisations are working face-to-face at the moment, but obviously over the period of this learning programme, I'm sure that's going to change and ebb and flow. So I think in the first instance, the answer is not necessarily, and that we're very open to people approaching us because they're interested in the work that we do, and they feel that their leadership journey would be enhanced by having time with us. I mean, obviously there is, as we've just identified, you know, there's travel money in the budget, there's the training bursary, there is money available to support travel costs. But obviously it's a negotiation, I think. And some organisations, depending on what projects they're doing, may feel it's more appropriate for you to be kind of close to hand. For Diverse City, we work nationally, so it's really not a huge issue for us. A lot of people that we work with work right across the country, so it's different for different organisations.
Thanks, Becky. Am I back in the room? Can you still hear me? Yeah. Right, I'll carry on really quickly. Polly asked a really great question. Is there anything that your particular organisation is looking for when selecting an applicant to work with? Kate, do you want to answer that one?
Yes, yeah. What I think what we're looking for is people who are passionate about wanting to make something happen, and and telling us what barriers that have meant that they feel that they haven't been able to make that move to develop it. I think I've seen through the chat this word passion and commitment come up time and again, which is lovely, because I know, sitting in a room with the other organisations, everybody is very passionate about this. So it's what change do you want? What do you want to see happen? Yes, it's for our organisation, we specialise in performance work, and we do a lot of work in the community. The film is very short that tells you about that, so it's really worth having a look on Activate's website. But we work in theatre, in dance, we do a lot of work in the community and youth work, and then we present work in the public realm through a lot through our Inside Out Dorset festival. So and there's a and quite when we're doing work in the public realm, it is cross art form, because I think I saw a question from Carrie around that, and also this has come up elsewhere around visual arts. I think when you look at not just the 4 partners in Dorset, but the 8 partners, we've had a couple of questions around visual arts. Actually, what's interesting is if you look at the cross-disciplinary work that we're involved in, it is quite broad. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kate. A couple of more questions about sort of commitment, really, in terms of the time it takes to undertake this training bursary. So how much time will this training require? Can I combine it with other responsibilities? So is it a full-time commitment, or can we be flexible? Who would like to answer that? Becky, will you be up for that?
Yeah, well, I think the short answer is I think we can be flexible. I think that it's really good to go in with a sense of knowing that with certainly in terms of my experience of similar kind of learning programs, I've always underestimated the amount of time it's needed, not so much on the job, but for reflection and real kind of deep learning. But I think organisations are all quite flexible in the demands that they would place on people who are following the programme. Just to reiterate, it's not an employment programme. So it's not like about us employing you on a contract that we might offer to anyone else on our teams. It's a training, learning opportunity. So the bursary, yes, is to pay for your time that you spend with us. And we will absolutely negotiate with individuals that we're interested in. But as Kate said, it's about, if you've got an idea about how you want to use the time and the learning that you feel that you've identified, then absolutely talk to us and explain in your application what it is that you feel that you want to change, both in yourself and in the sector.
Yeah,
thanks, Becky.
Sarah, could I just pick up on that as well? Just to say, it could be an intense period of 10 months. It could be full-time, it could be over the course of a year and in blocks. It could be working around a part-time job. It's very much and also around other responsibilities, caring responsibilities, all the different responsibilities we have to juggle. It is flexible in that way. Sorry, Caroline, you were gonna add.
I was going to just add, just bear in mind, you do not have to be a leader to apply either. So just slightly taking you off tangent, but yeah, you don't have to have leadership experience to apply either. So bear that in mind in your application when you're sending those through.
Fantastic. And just in terms of clarity, there is no upper age limit, is there? In terms of this is open to all ages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic. And then Steffi's just literally slipped in with a question there. I shall read that one live. Thanks, Steffi. Do you want to see themes linked to empowering women in the creative ideas submitted, or are you keen for ideas to be anything arts culture related? Steffi, would you be happy to clarify your question? Is that okay? Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, I was just wondering, in the ideas that can be submitted, if you want things sort of centered around women and women sort of in society, or if you just want an idea, anything to do with the cultural and arts sector. And it's more about actually, you know, developing as a woman leader.
Kate, you're nodding lots. What do you think?
It is the latter. In direct answer to that, this is a women's leadership program, so it is about you, whether you are freelance, whether you're employed in an organization, whether you've begun to lead a organization, but it is about you, and whether you decide it's that you would like to focus on a project that focuses on women is entirely up to you. This could be focused on a range of different things, but it's about what change do you want to see. It could be any community of interest, you know, art form, but it's about arts and culture, yeah, and it is about women leaders. So it is the latter of your questions there.
Fantastic. And we've got another one, hot to trot. This is from Mabel. I'd love to hear more about what the training could look like. Thanks, Mabel. So that's about working on projects with the host organisation, developing new ones, carrying out research. What do we think it actually could look like? Becky, are you all right to come in on that?
Oh, goodness. It's a great question, Mabel. I think that, you know, to some extent, it's about identifying where the learning is that you want to get. So, for example, I suppose it might look like working alongside someone else in the organisation and following the journey of a project and feeding into that, or kind of being assimilated into that. It might be quite a sort of bird's eye view of a project, or a production in our case, where you might be kind of observing and then maybe commenting upon it. I think it depends what skills you're bringing in, what interests you're bringing in, and the learning that you want to get. I mean, I think that it's also really important that a lot of the learning, I suspect, will also happen between the cohort of 16. So there'll be, you know, and I think that's quite important, again, from my own experience. It's brilliant, that opportunity just to talk within and across the cohort. So some of the learning will be more organic and will be actually within and between you. I don't know, does anyone else want to pick up on that? Any other pictures that we can paint?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we haven't run this program before. We wanted to do something different, which is why it feels quite open, and why you may be thinking, okay, so what is it that you want? Actually, what we are saying is, what is it that you want and you need, and we want to work with you. So it could be an active research project. It could be working directly in a community, a project that you've wanted to do for a very long time. For whatever reason, you've hit barriers, and you want this program to help you to get through those barriers, whatever they might be. So it's worth actually, if you have a sort of an inkling of an idea, to perhaps drop one of the partners a line. And equally, if you're not sure which host as well, then we can, if you wanted to contact us here at Activate and talk about the program, and then decide actually Diverse City is really the host I want, that's great, and you then wanted to say, well, I as I said earlier, I want to spend a couple of days at Activate as well, because I'm sort of interested in this area of your work. This is something that we really want to facilitate, and again, we're not enormous organizations, we have to make sure that we can do that with you. So
brilliant.
Yeah,
thanks, Kate. Yeah, I think Willow's just summed it up really nicely, actually, in terms of the chat. She said, could it be that we bring the idea of a project that we want to have the time and support to bring into life? For me, that's a perfect description of what it is. Absolutely. You know, it's like, what's the burning ambition? What's those ideas that you want to bring into fruition, but you've just never had the time or the resources, or there's been barriers in your way? That's what we're here to help sort of support you to do. So that was, thanks, Willow, for that.
Sorry, Sarah,
yes.
it isn't necessarily all just projects either. I think, you know, there may be sort of organisational change that you might want to bring about. You know, really shaking up. It isn't just about, oh, I would like to make this project and how can I lead it. It is about organisational change, structural change, all of those things. You know, really think outside the box. This is the opportunity to do it, and this is the programme that you can make that happen. So, you know, you could come to, for example, Pavilion Dance Southwest and say, you know, well, I'm not going to say because you're going to say, just change the structure. But yeah, so I would just, you know, bear in mind that it's not just a project.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. That's a really pertinent point. I'd quite like to answer this question, if that's okay. It's from Polly. So what are you as organisations hoping to get out of the experience of being a part of this programme? For me, it's to be challenged. It really is. It's for someone to come inside the Arts Development Company and ask those difficult probing questions. Why are you doing it like this? Why have you never done it like that? Why does this happen? How can we do this better? So for me, it really is about reciprocal learning. I'm going to learn as much from you as I hope we can impart to you guys as well. That's certainly my feeling. Kate, Caroline, Becky, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think that's great, Sarah. I think what you're saying is absolutely right. I'd echo that. And I also think, you know, we all want to see really great stuff happening, and if we can collaboratively support new ideas and people with those ideas coming through, that's just fantastic, you know, to address some of the issues that we talked about right at the start.
Brilliant, thank you. There's also a question about how the learning will be assessed, which is a really good point, because we've talked about it being a learning programme and thinking about sort of distance travelled, as it were, throughout the whole of the 18 months. So Southampton University in particular have been contracted to support the learning, to disseminate that, to evaluate it, to capture it. The methodology, try and say it, that they're using has still to be defined, but they're basically the key partner in terms of assessing learning. And then there was some really good questions, a couple of questions about legacy, actually. What happens after the programme finishes? And of course, I haven't totally got the answer for that, but my impression is that we're going to have this amazing network of incredible women, and that we should continue to support each other and to bring other people from outside the circle into our circle, and to share, you know, our newly found, whatever it is, power and control and leadership, and basically grow. This is about, I was going to say world domination, but, you know, this is about transforming the hierarchy and breaking it down. So Kate and Caroline, what do you think about legacy after the end of the programme?
Yeah, no, it's something. When we ran the workshop this morning, there was very much an appetite for whether or not, you know, we've had lots and lots of people interested, women interested in this programme, and 16 associates. We know from talking to everybody that there's a real appetite to network. So that's what we're going to come back to the partnership and talk about that. How can that be either facilitated or it's supported, really? So I think what we talked about at the beginning, which was like a resilient network, this is a pilot. You know, you can't say we're definitely then going to get investment to continue it yet, but actually, you know, for something to be sustainable, it should be able to be facilitated without this potentially. But, you know, you've got a group of organisations here committed to that, and there's nothing to say that we can't continue a network afterwards.
Thanks, Kate. Caroline, anything to add to that one?
Yeah, I I would like to sort of project my 5-year vision, if I may.
Go for it.
What it would be is we were all introducing ourselves as white middle-aged women, and let's hope that that changes and there's a whole introduction of a whole lot of different people in 5 years' time. So I'm expecting not to be here.
Yeah, it's a really good point. It's about different voices coming through and that succession, isn't it, in terms of talent around us and making sure, absolutely, I want to be out of a job, actually. That's what I'd like. You know, I want the next generation of leaders to be taking over the Arts Development Company and for it not to be me. I think there's a question, just going back, there was a question about the sort of matchmaking around organisation sort of fit and art form and applicants who bring their ideas to the table. Can we just sort of untangle that a little bit? How do we see that working? You know, is it applicants can select obviously a lead organisation they want to work with? How will it work the other way around as well? Kate, you've probably got some thoughts on that.
Are you talking about sort of matching applicants to hosts? Is that the question?
Yeah,
sorry.
Let me just sorry, Kate, I'll just get the exact question. Will the panel decide which organisation would be best suited to applicants based on their focus, or are our applications geared towards an organisation of our choice?
Okay, yeah, so when you make an application, you need to state which host organisation that you'd like to be within. So so that is one of the questions in the application. If you're not sure, and I think I mentioned this before, if you're not sure, take a look at our websites, drop us a line, and let us know. There could be, you know, I think we've had a few months ago, I think there was I think Sasha, somebody interested called Sasha, and she said, actually, I think, you know, you should contact one of the other partners, because this, you know, what you're talking about here in terms of your practice. And that was great. They contacted another one and had a really kind of fruitful conversation. So yes, you do need to come with a partner. With a host organisation in mind.
Great. Okay. I think I've answered all between us. We've answered all the questions in the chat. If you haven't had your question, sorry if I've missed that. Can you sort of raise your hand or unmute yourself now if we haven't managed to respond yet, please? There's a question here from Willow about the pack. A link to the pack we saw earlier, question mark.
We've got one on our website as well. I think each one of us has probably got, if you Google PDSW or Activate or any of us and put in Women Leaders Southwest, yeah, Caroline's put in the PDSW one. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any final questions, or before I hand over to Caroline and Kate to wrap up? No, I think we're done, Caroline.
Brilliant. Great. Does that mean we've done our job? Well, I hope so. Just a very brief one from me. Thank you so much for coming. I know, you know, lots of you may have you know, children and other sort of caring things. So I'm really, really delighted that you're here and you've made the time. So really, really lovely to have seen you. Looking forward to your applications, and yeah, you know, go visit the websites for all the organisations. Have a good old research and find which one you would like to work with and change, and we'll look forward to that.
Great. And just to say that each of the organisations is very happy if you would like to send an email direct to you know, either myself, Kate, Becky, Caroline, if you would, you know, like to have a further follow-up question answered. And I think, sorry, I'm just checking, there was a few last minute questions in the chat. If my idea has progressed to a degree but is still embryonic, does it fit the criteria? My thought is yes. Kate and Caroline?
Yeah.
Embryonic ideas are all welcomed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much then. So yeah, lovely to spend the evening with you. Do drop us a line if you know further clarity, but hopefully we'll look out for all of your applications. So thanks everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you
evening.
all. Thank you very, very much. 16th